Peace. Welcome to the show. And you already know this right here is Humble Beginnings, where we simply live it through. This right here is another episode of, Is It Disrespectful? I can get my one-on-one time with, a lot of my partners and, family and whatever may have you. And we just talk about, things being disrespectful, getting the understanding of, how things work. And probably for some people, if you ain't trying to be disrespectful, you might want to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Realize that you're a little disrespectful in the way that you're moving and how you're going about things. So that's just really how this right here works. Because disrespect we can find in anything. That's the most amazing part about it. We can find disrespect in anything. The key is we all might not view it as disrespect. Some things we might think is respectful. Some things we might think is disrespectful. But that's what we're here to talk about. You know what I'm saying? On these Is It Disrespectful segments. Mattie B, what's up, man? I got my boy rocking with me.
That's what's up, man. Just ready to have a good conversation, man. Relax, chilling. It's been an awesome day.
Oh, man, most definitely. It definitely was. So, we're going to get straight into it. I'm pretty sure everybody see the title. What are you bringing? So I was having some conversations with some people, and I was hearing a couple things and hearing women talk. And I was listening to women like, dang, women got a real high expectation of the things that they ask for men. You know what I'm saying? Women saying they want this, whatever it is, money, accolades, or whatever may have you. But when I noticed that when the question is posed for women, it's typically the things that they consider valuable or what they bring to the table are typically not that, not that great. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they equal out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to get into. The question is it disrespectful for women to have such a high expectation of men from when what they bring is not equivalent to what men bring to this table? That's the question.
It's definitely disrespectful. It's also foolish. It's like it don't make no sense. If you want anything in life, you're going to have to you're going to have to be somewhere near the level of what you're asking for. I compare it to like when people apply for a job. You can't apply for a job that got all the requirements to stand and say, hey, I'm me. You should hire me because I'm me. And that's what I see a lot of females doing today. But, we can blame it on a lot of things. At the end of the day, people got to start looking inward rather than, blaming on the media, social media, and all this stuff. I do believe all those things play a role. But at the end of the day, you got to get out your delusion, and be able to just know that it don't make sense. Just be able to understand yourself and understand the results you are getting ain't even matching what you're hearing or what you're believing. So it's disrespectful because it's pretty much saying that I'm superior to you. That's how I look at it. If I'm telling you should just take me because I'm me, but you need to live up to this standard, that means I'm saying I'm higher than you naturally. But for you to be on my level, you have to have all this to match me. And it's like, nah. We both at the same level, and then we both have to build ourselves to a level that's compatible. And a lot of females aren't doing that.
But what's crazy with that concept though? Like for most men to qualify, most men actually have to build and earn their way up. And a lot of times it's like women don't necessarily have to build their way up in a sense. You get what I'm saying? Like they kind of, I guess like we have expectancies too now. We're expecting like certain nurturing sides and things of that nature. But I guess because these are certain things that people should be taught as they were young, we kind of don't, like if we was like, there's a school for this, or you got to work your way to it. I guess it's not held the same. Because it's like, it's like with a woman, it's like these are things that by the time you reach adulthood, you're supposed to already have. Well, with men, it's like you're going through your educational processes, you're young, but you really can't tap into these worlds until you actually old enough to actually really get out there and put your feet, you know what I'm saying, in your career or whatever may have you. What do you think about that, man? Because that's kind of crazy.
I agree with the point you made. It was just a saying I just heard it maybe like 2-3 days ago. I don't remember where I heard it from. They were saying, if you see some men and you see some women on the yacht, it's two different levels. Because for sure, for that man to get on that yacht, he had to shake a lot of hands. He had to go through ups and downs. He had to have some business failings. It took a lot for him to get on that yacht. But you got women 19, 20 that just look good and they can get on that yacht. You ain't seen no guys being on that yacht with rich people just because, we want him on there, If you're on that yacht and you a man, you best believe he don't put some work in. But you'll see, like I used to the point you made, you got some women 20, 21, 22. They're on there just because the the scene. You know, they on there for the mood and everything. They on there to set the tone of the boat just because they look good. So I do believe that plays into their delusion. But even you can have that. Like some females, they know how to get that, but a lot of females that's saying that they don't even know how to get that, because there is a way for some females. There's a way for everybody to get what they're asking for. They just need to know what they need to do it. And even with females, it's not that much. I would say, me personally, it's not even a whole lot of work they have to do. It's more resistance for them. Us, it's achieving. For them, it's resisting certain things. It's not letting your value lose itself. You know, not having a lower body count, carrying yourself a certain way, keeping a certain essence about you, putting yourself in a position where those men can find you. A lot of women can get those just by not falling victim to the urges and the traps of being a pretty woman.
Why do you think women hold education so high? Like that's one of the first things they like to throw out there, right? They be like, yo, well, I'm educated. Like, it means so much to hear that you educated. Like, the only thing that will make you saying you educated make sense is if I just thought women were retarded or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, for you to keep telling me you educated, then I must have had to already assume you was just either ignorant as shit or you were retarded. Like, the only way I can see you throwing out my education to be valuable. Like, why do you think women throw that education at you so heavy? Like, yo, I'm educated. Like, what does that mean?
I just think people have to find a way to make themselves seem valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the only thing you can do is fight, what you gonna lean on every argument? I knock your ass out. You know, you lean on where your strength is at. You know,
at least what you believe to be a strength.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the concept of knocking somebody out, for most niggas, it's a hope. Like, they hope they can knock you out. They ain't training to actually know the technique behind knocking you out. They really just hope they can knock you out.
Yeah. But if they know, but even though that might be BS, that might be the best thing that they can do per that person. You know what I'm saying? It might be whack on a big scale of everybody else, but that might be the best thing that they can do, even though that's sorry as hell. You know, that might be what they lean on. They like, I'm bad as hell, but I can do that better than anything else. And as far as the female, yeah, I think that I do think it's something to be proud of, though. And I know that's not where you was going at, but I do think it's something to be proud of, being able to accomplish something, being able to persevere for years and years and get something done, being able to stick with it, have a higher GPA or whatever, even though not everyone has a high GPA to get a degree. But, you know, I think if you do get that level of achievement, it's definitely something to be proud of. But I think they just some women use it in a negligent way, you know, because we're not comparing ourselves education level. You can be having an argument or a debate about female or just a conversation about anything, and they throw up education. Like, what that got to do with I want chicken today? Like, you know, just being sarcastic. Can't tell me nothing. You know, it's like that's and I think too, like how we say some females are vindictive as well, you know, so they try to hit what they think is gonna hurt. So they hear people saying black men don't look in books, they don't get education, they're not as intelligent. So when you know that's a stereotype of black men, when you get in an argument with a black man and you're a black female, you try to hit what you think is gonna actually affect them. So the first thing you say is, I'm higher than you, you know, mentally. And that's also one more thing. That's also some people being able not to argue their point. I know you're big on argue your point. Some people can't argue their point. So if they can't fully argue their point, the first thing they say is, I'm more educated than you. Like, that's the trump card. So whatever I'm saying, I shouldn't have to fully prove it. That trumps whatever you got to say.
What's wrong with the idea of being fit? Like, telling a woman that having a woman think, telling a woman that you would like for a woman to be in shape. Because I know that's a big thing on your scale, and I look at that as well. Like, the idea of you just, you know, taking care of yourself. Like, you know, men are visual, so it also placates to the visual aid of it, like my attractiveness to you and all this other stuff like that. Go there, because if you allow yourself to get out of shape, and then all of a sudden, if I run over here and I start cheating, I'll be the worst person in the world. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, if you know what I like, and you know, if in order for me to carry my sex drive through this situation, I need you to look a certain way. And then you did. It's not like I'm asking you to look like something you never looked like before. Because most of the time, the man fell for you the way that he fell for you. and then you allowed yourself to fall out. So what do you think that women see the problem? Why is it such a great problem with that idea of a woman just being in shape?
Because I think people have bought into the belief, even a lot of men on a different level, not dealing with weight, but for women, I believe people have bought into the belief of, if you really love me and you commit to me, you would take me no matter what, or you will stay with me no matter what. That sickness and health, everything, even though that's based on the marriage, I think people even look at that, even in regular relationships, a lot of times, if they have a long-term relationships, they look at that same dynamic of, if you falling for me, or if you with me and I gain weight, I'm still me eternally. I'm still the same person you met, but I got standards on my relationship. I don't love unconditional, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I'm always one to vocalize about, that conditional love being stupid. Like, conditional love is literally you telling the person that no matter what happens or whatever it is, you got to love me for who I am. And listen, as far as love is concerned, that's cool. Like, most of the time, if you love somebody, you will love them. But it's the other things that you think is going to fall after the love that becomes the problem. Yeah, I can still love you, but you being out of shape don't do nothing for as my sex drive, because I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. But I can still love you, though. I can still pay the bills. I can still want to take care of you. I can still want the best for you. But what that got to do with the other things? Because then if I start, like I said, if a person starts cheating, or they start doing this, or they start not wanting to be seen in public with you, then it will become a problem. So it's like, at what point do they realize that, if the marketplace of where you're trying to go and what you're trying to build to, why are you not trying to appeal to that market? And it's the type of stuff, we all know that they hated Kevin Samuels for, but I mean, it's a direct thing though. Like, you should be able to appeal to what they want. Like, I can respect what women say they want. Like, if you tell me you want this, I know that if I want to play in this game, I have to be able to do what it is that your requirements, if I want to be with you. I don't find no problem with that. Like, if she tell me, yo, Kev, I need you to have that 6-pack and I need you to be this boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm going to say? Damn, well, if I really want to, guess I got to get to the gym. I guess I got to hit some sit-ups. Guess I got to get some crunches. I guess I got to get the ab roller. Like, it's like, yo, I understand it. It ain't no different, because we look at it the same way as if you going with a job. Like, whatever requirements you need me to make, manager, supervisor, whatever it is that have you, I know I have to fit whatever the qualifications are. But why do women feel like they don't have to fit the qualifications?
I also think that a lot of people aren't putting themselves in the environment to even know the benefits of being in shape or being healthy as well. I noticed that as well too. Because like, if you're born in certain dysfunctional neighborhoods and everything, where a lot of people ain't working out, a lot of people ain't talking about health. Even with us, we died. Number one death for Black men is heart problems based on our diets and everything. I think people just don't see the importance of it, more so than when I'm in these affluent neighborhoods, like when I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I mean certain areas out there. That's big, even at an early age. It's big. They big on health. They big on being in shape. They big on working out. So I think people see the benefits of it, and it becomes an attraction to them. But if you weren't raised around that, it probably wouldn't even be an attraction to you. And they may want this guy that's on this level, but they weren't raised around those guys on that level. So they don't even understand why guys on that level think differently than the guys they were raised around. Because we know in the hood, a lot of guys will still take that big woman. A lot of guys making income will still take them. So when they get in corporate or they get around certain men that are making a lot more money, they think that should be the same way around the whole equation, and it's not. Certain people that the same way you know what it takes to get to that level as a female, it takes even harder for men to get to that level. And those men that get to that level, they want something for the work they put in.
Yeah, and usually that work builds up to like a status of class and things of that nature. It's just like the concept when people talk about hypergamy. A lot of people don't understand that, first of all, like, hypergamy comes from, the Hindu culture. And hypergamy is that of women aiming for a person of equal or greater within that status, and then money and all these things money comes with it, but it's really the class of the people in which that sets them apart. So it can't be that little hood chick from around the way, maybe Decatur, Georgia, whatever may have you, trying to be alongside, you know what I'm saying, somebody who comes from a more higher echelon of a class. That's not the same class. She is actually beneath that fella. Like, it's of equal or greater. You know what I'm saying? It's like you cannot place yourself there, and it's more family involved than most people think. Like the hypergamy thing is not you just choosing your partner. No, the family looks at this situation. Like we make these decisions together. Like your father, more so your father, gets involved because usually the father's the breadwinner, whatever may have you, and the class is predicated and based upon, you know, the man. You know what I'm saying? Most cultures typically put the man up there. The woman just play her role as she passenger. But it's usually predicated upon that. So when women say they want these type of things, if these men are willing to have this woman, why things like being submissive? Why would that be a big issue? Like if you want this lifestyle shit, because guess what? Because every man don't want to, some men will go to the bottom and grab something on the bottom because that person at the bottom might have a better understanding of value and appreciation as well too. It's not always, you know what I'm saying, you grab somebody and then they be like, man, they just that, you know, shallow or materialistic, you know what I'm saying, caught up in the vanities or whatever may have you. You know what I'm saying? That person could have a better understanding and they could be a lot more appreciative of what you're doing with your stuff. And they just happy that you even gave them a chance. So they guess what they willing to do? They willing to submit. But why women of lower class, this, you know, poverty-stricken community, are so highly driven? Why are they so highly driven to land these men, but they don't even want to cooperate? Because that's all the submissiveness is. Men basically telling you they want you to cooperate. Why do you think women got such a problem with cooperation?
I think it's two things. I think it's based on the conditions of the women that's here today. I think it's based on the condition that they were left in previously without seeing a man in the home. You know, they seen their mama running things, paying bills, being the leader of the household of her and her brothers, you know. So they seen that dynamic. So a lot of these females haven't even seen, you know, a woman be submissive to a man. And you got to also think too, in the school systems, it's way more female teachers than it is men teachers, which is another dynamic of the leadership they seen being female based. You know, so when they hear that men saying submissive, they're like, whoa. They look at it because they put themselves as our equal, you know. No other female in any other culture does that, but they look at it as they just with us or above because they see how that plays out. And then also the catering to them. We know that women spend the most money in America culture. You know, women are the biggest consumers. Even when they talk about like clothes, you think about like clothes. Men will wear a t-shirt all throughout the year. Somebody just talk about that. We'll get a few pair of Levi jeans, some Walmart jeans, and we'll throw t-shirts on all throughout the year. Women spend big money on purses. Women will buy big $100 on dresses and wear it one time and don't wear it no more. So what that creates is people catering to you. You hear the rapper saying, "You're a queen, mama. I do anything for you. Anything you want, you can have it." You hear all these songs coming out that's catering to women because they buy the records. A lot of women buy more records than dudes, you know, in our culture. So they play into that because they know that boosts their ego up and we get sales. And they know they're not going to pick that woman. In the day, they're going to pick a woman that's submissive to them, but they don't mind putting that out there to get record sales, to sell stuff. And that's how that works. Go ahead, talk.
So when people, like when we talked about the women, we always channel the word nurturing, right? But it's always funny because everything that the man does is nurturing as well. Why, when we speak nurturing, why we don't speak to the fact that men actually are doing more of the nurturing than the women? Because we're talking about what we bring into the table. But protection is a thing of nurturing. You paying the bills and having your family able to eat and all these other stuff, clothing them and all these are nurturing things. So while women are always quick to say, well, I'm a nurturer, but men do a lot of nurturing. Why we don't channel the nurturing when we talk to men? Because we say provider and protector, but providing and protecting is nurturing. Why we don't be like, yo, men really doing a lot of the nurturing out here?
I agree with you 100% on that. I believe because the conversations we are hearing right now is people trying to get things in order how they feel they should be, because things have been out of order so long. So even though we do it, they know based on the original standard of how humans operated, they were way more nurturing than they were, and we were way less nurturing than we were today back in a certain time as well. So I think a lot of nurturing, because we're trying to be more active today, because the dynamics have definitely changed. So even though we may know, like how you explained, we may know that we're doing a lot of nurture, we don't lead with that. We feel like that should be something that a female leads with, because you don't look at it, even when it comes to like a relationship dynamic. Most relationships ain't a female taking care of the whole house, and when she come home, do rubber her feet, like, I motivate you to go out there and get the bag. It's usually, if it is somebody at home in a relationship, it's usually the opposite way around. It's usually the female staying at home, taking care of the kids. And when the man coming home, she's giving him his massage. Even though that don't happen in our community a lot, I do see it happening, some of these suburbs I go to where it's two parent household, and the man is working, and he's come home and the woman has been there all day getting the house ready, having the food, talking to the kids about what game we're gonna play tonight. When the husband come home, having his water ready, rubbing his head. So I think that's how people kind of want their relationships to be, even though that's not what it is today.
So, so in today's time, right? Shouldn't women have more respect and more understanding and consideration for this? Because with all these single mother households out here, all these single positions, these women having to be the ones to take care of the family, because clearly there ain't no man there. They got to be the one to provide. They got to be the one get the kids ready for school. Boom, boom, boom. They feed and they doing all that. So women got to do all this. Shouldn't women be motivated to be more cooperative and building with men? Because you're literally going from a placement of doing it all by yourself to now you can actually share the load. You would think cooperation should be the first thing on her radar. She should be like, you know what? I'm going to cooperate because this shit hard by myself. But they make it seem like shit. Doing it by themselves is where it's at.
Yeah, because people have blown their egos out of this world. A lot of females' ego out of this world, so they want everything. It's not a fact that they can't get anything from a guy. They can get anything from any guy that they want to. It's getting everything at once that they have an issue with. If they dealing with a guy that is those things and they do care about him, guess what they gonna say? Well, he born. They don't like him because he born, or this don't work out. So when they get the guy that's exciting or fun, that guy may not have those leadership capabilities. He may not be as tentative to a lot of things in the home, or nurturing, or being able to be as partnership with her and help her in a lot of ways where she feel appreciated, because he's gonna be his attitude and his demeanor is gonna be geared towards something else. So I think they have issue with, I'm dealing with one guy and I can't get this. I deal with another guy and I can't get that, and they think that they can get everything from one person, and that's unrealistic. Even on our spectrum, when I deal with a female, I know that I'm not getting every single thing I want from one female.
You think it's ever gonna be a time where, because right now when we look at like the spectrum, man, it look like a lot of our women, they don't look like they got too much respect for the plane that we own. And personally, I tell cats all the time, I think it's a wrap for that. I think we might as well just go ahead and hang that shit up. But I mean, there might be some cats out there who optimistic, who believe in this thing, and we gonna turn these women around and have these women such and such. I don't believe that. But I don't believe that because I think it all starts up top mentally. And I think in order to do something like that, we would have to destroy the current mind state that these women carry. And we would have to rebuild. Just like if we're going to talk about the foundation that we try to build up some property, we got to tear this down. We got to clear this rubble, and we got to restart. We got to rebuild a new foundation and move forward. What you think about that? Like, you think we'll ever get on the same page? Or you think we would have to literally wipe that shit out? What you think, man?
I mean, I think everything comes full circle. I believe there's a phase, because that's why, like, speaking to you, even off the air before, about serenity, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a big thing. And I think in life, certain things come in, certain time frames. So I think everything circles around. I think at some point, it'll get back to a time where we having households, we having marriages, and then 50
we ain't gonna see it, not in our lifetime.
Maybe not. I don't know the time.
No. We not. No.
I don't know the time.
I mean, I believe things can come full circle, but I think it'll be a long period of time. I don't think we'll see it.
And then 100 years after that, guess what? It'll be falling apart again. I think.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. I believe things can move in a circle, but I don't think we'll see it. Not our lifetime. Because that shit ain't gonna change in the next 20, 30, 40 years. I think they still got a lot more worse to go.
Yeah.
Think about it now.
Because social media, OnlyFans, everything is only getting, we're at the height of it right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So even if we have to go down a decline, shit, nigga, we'll be done pass away before we actually see the rebirth.
But let me ask you something. Do you think it's kind of hard to tell right now because it's still so early of all these sites coming in? But we're hearing more people celebrate men in those conversations happening now more than we ever heard before over the last 3-4 years since the pandemic hit. So I mean, positive sign, because before everybody, even the Montel Williams, Steve Harvey's, everybody that had a show that was a man still was kind of catering towards female. This is the first time really in mass we've seen men's spaces online or on TV where people are celebrating being a strong man. They're celebrating have a 9-to-5 and raising your family. They're celebrating men that have intellectual conversations and stay away from the trapments of no matter where you came from, even if you came from the suburbs. I've seen those men get celebrated. If you came from the ghetto and you changed your life, they're getting celebrated. So I think we are seeing that man being highlighted more. But I think in our culture, we have a big fascination with entertainment. And a lot of females are attracted to men that entertain them more so than the values as far as responsibilities. So when we can make being a responsible person, being an upstanding citizen look cool, I think that's where we start seeing the shift. Because for some reason, our culture, it has to be cool before a lot of us to go towards it.
Yeah, and I was about to add to that. I was like, but even like, okay, all these platforms and men speaking out and men have, but all that reverence is more so being celebrated by other men pushing other men up there. A lot of these women might throw them little quick reference like, yeah, he a good man, he doing something, something. These women ain't really fucking with that, man. They jumping on their own channel saying this nigga lame, this nigga this. Like they only gonna give him that credit as long as they can come up off of him.
Probably so, but also I've seen like how you said, you made a good point, but I've also seen a lot of females that have channels 100% based towards men, like Crimson Kerr. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
Yeah, but she different. She Muslim.
Yeah, but even
I'm not saying it's a different cultural plane though. That's like most of our women ain't Muslim.
I get that, but even
you know what I'm saying? That's a hard comparison.
Even the people like her that's coming out as that being highlighted, that we didn't even hear the Muslim women talking about it before because they would have got shit on. Like how you say, it's people.
Well, it's not for them to be stepping like that anyway though.
I know.
Like culturally, it's not for them to do it. You know what I'm saying? She a black Muslim, so she gonna move a little different. We kind of do what we want to do, even when we partake in certain religions and things of that nature. But most Muslim women still wouldn't do it. They wouldn't step out like that because they can't.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's a fact.
Like culturally, they just can't. Like that's not your place.
Yeah. So like me and you said, especially when it comes to females, even with men, but definitely when it comes to females, no one likes standing alone. You know what I'm saying? Even if they have their beliefs, they typically be quiet. And usually what happens is somebody like a Kevin Samuels, even though people were talking about this before him, but I guess he was the first one that really blew this conversation out the map where everybody's listening now.
He was the one that pissing them off.
That first person always get, knocked down, but it creates a lane where everybody else can step into, and it makes other people more comfortable now because now the conversation is being had to come on and say, this is how I always felt. So I'm seeing even like outside of the Crimson Curve, I ain't want to keep name dropping, but a lot of other females having shows as well. And some of these shows were 6, 7, 8 years old and nobody was watching. They had their own Facebook chat, they had their YouTube channel on a smaller level that we're now seeing because it's a popular space now. So that space always existed. It's kind of like how you used to be into the space or the conscious community. That space probably was always there and people just didn't look at it until somebody like your boy made it more popular. What's his name?
Sonetta.
There you go. Yeah, until Sonetta made it popular. So I think that's what's happening with this too. It was always happening. People were always talking about this years. Then you had the Tommy Sotomayor that kind of but he was a little rugged. And then you had the Kevin Samuels, and now people looking back and saw that there was females 6, 7, 8 years ago talking about this stuff that now are getting popularity and a little more steam now.
In your opinion, in your personal opinion, which approach you think probably would be more successful? You think, the aggressive direct approach, that calling that accountability and that works more, or you think, soft talking them a little bit, like, baby, maybe if you just change this, you might can turn. Which one do you think work a little bit more successful?
Well, I definitely don't think soft talk. I get what you're saying though, but I would say no matter what you say, it needs to be concerned. But I get what you're saying, the more direct way, in the more subtle way. I would say both are needed.
I agree with that. I do think both of them are needed.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, it's all about which path that you would take. You know how, like, when people talk to Kevin Samuels or Tommy Sotomayor, one of them, they be quick to tell them, like, yo, the first thing people always want to tell you is how you should be delivering your message.
Exactly. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. It's like, yo, you ain't going to tell me how I'm going to deliver my message. If you want to hear the other message, find somebody else who talk like that. But you ain't gonna sit here and tell me how to deliver my message. Like, I believe in this approach, so I carry this approach, and that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Even with Kevin Samuels, before he passed, he was starting to not be as loud as he was when he first did it. His message was still kind of direct. It was definitely direct, but the disrespect, you could tell he would just let him off the show, or he would be a little less light on them. So I think that initial bluntness is always to get the attention. Then once you get the attention of the people, you can kind of tone it down, but you still need to be direct and not take no shit. You know what I'm saying? Because most people don't pay attention to something until it's loud, until it's a eye catcher.
Yeah, most people ain't gonna pay attention until somebody, know what I'm saying, put that pressure there that jogs them and make them feel like they have to address it.
Exactly.
They ain't gonna do it naturally. But it's that's just like in regular life though. Most adult people literally do not make a shift in their life unless a calamity happens.
Yep.
Something drastic has to happen before most grown people would say, I'm going to change this in my life. Mm-hmm. That's literally how it works. So until there is a level of pressure or something that hit, or maybe this wall that people always talk about, until they run slam into that goddamn wall, they're not going to see anything wrong with it. They're not going to make a change.
And the thing I find funny, too, is some of the men that criticize Kevin Samuels, even men on the streets, a lot of men that support him, but even some of the men that criticize him or have backlash, I say even their voice is more important because of him. Because when somebody takes a big step, even if you're the opposition, even as the opposition, your voice becomes more stronger because of that person. So even the people that hate on him, they're benefiting from the conversation he had, because even if somebody say, example, like Trill or some of these guys that talk, they getting more views. They admit it, they getting more views and getting more listeners because of his message. Even though they don't go as hard as he go, people are coming into their space and saying, let's see what people got to talk about. Even though we don't like their message, guess what? The people who may even criticize Kevin Samuels, people go to their shows now and say, okay, let's hear it a different way, where they would have never even came to their space if it wasn't for the bluntness of the original boisterous person.
Yeah, I got a whole girl that I had met through other avenues, and she had just commented on one of my other videos. She told me, she be telling me I'm too soft, like when I be talking on the internet. She was like, this, like the way I talk on the internet ain't the Kevin she know in real life. She said I'm way more aggressive and I put a lot more pressure there. She was like, I'm too nice. I was like, damn.
I saw that actually. I saw that. I know you're talking about. I saw that.
Because I asked, I said, damn, so you just want me to be on the attack? Huh? She was like, yeah, you need to be on the attack. She's like, you don't be playing with them in real life. Don't play with them on the internet. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily playing with them. I'm just building an avenue of understanding. I said, I can easily chop. I can chop up anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little lion. Like, nigga, I get the roaring on a nigga quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with doing that, but I always want to create a space, you know what I'm saying, where it's about having an understanding. Because sometimes it ain't about if I could chop you up. It's all about what can you learn to do better within your life. So the same way with like this type of a conversation, I can easily go at a woman's throat and be like, nah, yo, boom, 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 boom. You ain't doing this. But then at the end of the day, she still has to come to a level of understanding because we're talking about community building. So she has to gain enough that's going to change her to where she can pass it forward, because got kids coming up, they got to be taught. So it ain't about me just, chopping her and bullheading, running her over. Like, it's not really about that. You just got to understand that we got to become stronger, because that's really what it's about at the end of the day.
I agree. And I also think that two things as well. I think that you doing a lot of shows with people that you kind of already rock with. So
yeah, of course.
It ain't like you have, like how she probably know you from having random conversations with anybody that may have a complete different point of view. A lot of the people that you're having on your show, we think similar, as your boys and shit for the most part. Every now and then we may have somebody new on the show, but most of the people on the show are people we kind of already rock with. So it ain't gonna be too much opposition opinions. That's just, I got to just chop that down. And like how you said too, it's building. So it ain't like we just having a conversation at our home where we just chopping it up and just talking shit. We're actually trying to make sure people understand the message, understand what we're trying to get through. And the last thing is people talk on this different than they talk in real life. Cause like, I know you're a big words person. You're a big say what you mean and mean what you say. We know that dealing with you. So when we get on this show, we make it show exactly what we say. We can back it up because we know how you are. So people also gear in their conversation a little more because they know it's on a public platform rather than in the street just having a conversation where I might say something that don't make no sense. So you may have that boisterous or that I got to chop it down. But I'm on here. I'm like, okay, people listening. So now I'm even gearing my conversation to make sure I know what I'm talking about before I speak.
Yeah, man, it's understandable, man. I get it. I get it. All right, man. So, before we always get out of here on the Is It Disrespectful, man, I always try to send a message, man. So I would ask, man, what would be words you would send to the women, man, about these high expectations they have, man? What's a message you want to give to the women before we get up out of here?
I would say I don't have a problem with the high expectations. You just need to understand where you rank at as far as the expectations you want. The same way you got these high expectations for the men, those men are going to want those high expectations from you. I also think just as a community, we just need to start appreciating each other for who we are more so often as well, too. I think it's become to a point where everything is a statistic. I want a fine woman with a fat ass. I want a guy 6 foot, $100,000. We don't have it seems like we don't have no natural love for each other no more, like how we used to coming up in the community environment. And I know the times have changed a lot, but I think we just need to start really getting back to understanding each other, being more compassionate, considerate. And if you don't rock with somebody, you don't have to rock with them. Find what works for you. But we need to stop comparing what we got in our life to everybody else's life. And that's the one downfall of social media. People can't appreciate the people right in front of them and right in their lives because they're too busy comparing other people to how their life is,
So yeah, my message to the ladies is, listen, man, when we're talking about the table and what we're going to bring and how we're going to operate when we sit at the table, we have to have an understanding. But number one, we have to have respect for the person who's going to sit at the table. It can't be like I get it. There's a level of selfishness within everything we do, why we do things, why we don't do things. And I would never, ever, ever, ever tell a woman not to do something that's beneficial for her. But you still have to have a level of grace for the people that you deal with. That's the number one problem. That if a man cannot live up to it, then, let that man know early in the game. Don't drag a man through it, and then you go to hit him with it after that, because, 10 things tend to get 10 times worse, man. You don't want to do too much playing with people, especially nowadays, because it seems like this whole mental health and the sensitivity upon people seems to be very, very great. I hate to say it like this, but, man, motherfuckers get killed once you hurt their feelings a little too tough now. So I would say, man, you got to give these fellas a little bit of grace. Listen, you got to give. We working things out. We started at the same place with y'all. I know sometimes y'all feel like y'all in competition with us, but we started at the same place with y'all. We was wearing them same chains, them same shackles, man. We trying to figure it out the same way, maneuver through life the same way. All we ask is for a little bit of respect, allow us to do our job so we can then help each other do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's basically a simple message, man.
Right.
All right, man. You want to tell the people where they can find you?
Matthew Washington, Facebook.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? This is Mr. Humble Beginners. We definitely got a good bit of work coming up this week, man. I know last week, man, I was tired, man. I was laying it down quite early all week long, man. I ain't get to put out some material, but I'm gonna definitely make up for it this week. Know what I'm saying? We got a good panel discussion coming Wednesday. Some of the things that we talk about are definitely going to help generate it because, Wednesday topic is definitely going to be, why is there so little disrespect for the black man? That's the topic. We talking about that Wednesday. So it's going to be a good conversation, and we're going to build on that. So, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a couple more Is It Disrespectfuls coming up this week, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to have some fun, man. But, until then, you know what I'm saying? I'm Mr. Humble Beginners. Got Mattie B rocking with me, man. And we're out until the next time. We holla at y'all.